Alright, hey everybody. I'm trying to address some issues that we're having. We have a lot of new players, and while that's a good thing, it's a little frustrating with the way the game works, with the lack of VoIP and the fact that we can't really do things safely. It's really frustrating to try and explain the game to new players whilst also trying not to get our fucking selves killed in a raid. And I mean, the onus is on us, but I feel like we can probably do better. So we're gonna just do a little bit today, showing you just some very simple basics. I'm gonna talk you through, just some very simple controls that you maybe aren't aware of. Some health and medical stuff, and then I'm gonna, close out on some other basics. So first things first, we're gonna fade into how we set up for a raid and the way that works. Okay, it actually occurs to me that probably the first thing we should show you is how the game fundamentally works as a meta. So you'll see that I have a ton of stuff. Like, I have lots of armor, I have rifles, I have ammunition, I got medical, I got all these big shiny bags, and I look fucking hella cool. I mean, look at me, I'm a badass, I'm ready to fuck your shit up and take your stuff. But I didn't start that way. Even as an Edge of Darkness Edition player, I didn't start with a ton of gear. I didn't start, completely kitted out. I made more money than most to start with, sure, but that wasn't because of that was because of my addition, but it wasn't like it was an advantage. Anyone can kill anyone, really. What really happens with the meta is your traders are crucial to progression. So we're gonna start with Skier just because of the top, but you'll see that I'm loyally level 3 with Skier, and that accesses me to quite a lot of Gucci little gear. I get the second best bag in the game. These are one of the best vests in the game. Got access to some cool silencers, various attachments, rails, suppressors. I can buy euros straight from him. There's various things you need to put M4 stocks on AKs, yada yada yada. But everyone else starts like this. They start with shotgun parts, MBSS bags, various civilian weaponry, and scav vests and stuff. And the reason I have access to level 3, if you look up here, is because I've leveled up Skier himself. So my current attitude with him is I am at level 3. Now, my next one is level 4, that's his max level. And to get there, I need to be level 30, I need to have spent or sold 2 million worth, which I have, and I need to reach 0.60 reputation with him. Now, some of these things you'll do naturally. Leveling up is, of course, a natural progress of the game. Spending and selling, buying and selling is also pretty natural. This is not just money you spent on him, this is money that he spent on you, buying from you. Reputation is the biggest hurdle, and you do that by completing tasks. Now, you'll see that I've completed 3 of them for Skier currently, and each one netted me certain levels of reputation. This one gave me 0.15, this one gave me 0.11, this one gave me 0.15, and also lowered Purpur and Therapist by a certain amount. And it's the same across all the traders. If I go to Purpur, I'm level 3 with him. At my next level, I'll get at 29, 0.60 and 1.6 million. I've already met the 1.6 million amount. I need to level up and hit this reputation amount. So that means I need another 1.19 reputation. I've completed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tasks for Purpur already. My next one will net me 0.05, as well as some experience and rewards. In this way, you mitigate the losses caused by a death in raid. When you have a certain amount of money, when you have certain levels of traders, these things that you lose don't matter as much. If I really, really want to get a new AKMS, I can spend 34,000 rubles on one. And 34,000 rubles isn't really a lot of money in the current meta. In the current meta, if you don't loot any gear, if you kill a level 20 and you take his PMC and you take his dog tag, you can sell it to Therapist for like 20k rubles, and that's almost a full rifle. It's also worth noting that traders have their own current likes and dislikes in terms of buying from you. Purpur tends to buy everything. He's a bit of a wholesaler. He doesn't really buy bags, but he will buy basically every weapon. He'll buy armor that isn't less than 80% durability. He won't buy vests, but he will buy headgear. He will buy ammo. And Purpur won't give you the best prices on things, but he's pretty much a wholesaler. If I really want to dump something on him, I can get it to Purpur. Skier sort of shares some similarities, but not too many. Skier will buy the bags that Prapor wouldn't. He'll buy more armor at slightly lower levels of durability. He'll buy vests. But more than anything, he also gives you better prices for general attachments. I got 360 rubles from Prapor for this muzzle device, and I get 420 from Skier. Skier won't buy weapons in their current state, but he will buy them if you... Okay, so let me show you. He won't buy receivers, like the actual part of the weapon that makes it go click and boom. He won't buy that. So in the AK, for example, he will buy the pistol grips. He'll buy the shiny bolt. He'll buy this AFG. He'll even buy this handguard. He may even buy the suppressor, but he's not gonna buy the gas tube. He's not gonna take the stock. He's not gonna take, you know, the actual general receiver. If you take apart a weapon, there's ultimately a piece of it that is left behind. So I pull everything off this AKMS. This is the receiver of a weapon, and Skier's not gonna buy that from me because he doesn't buy weapons. He doesn't buy the part that makes the weapon fire. And that's important to understand. But to show you what he will buy, because he's probably the most nuanced of the traders, we'll go back to him. For example, you will see that Prapor will buy all of this. Skier is gonna buy, you know, your grips, your sights, your dust covers, your handguards, your muzzle devices, your gas tubes, but he's not going to buy anything that's part of the stock. He's not going to buy the receiver. Peacekeeper is your Western dealer. Now, you don't need to do any tasks for Peacekeeper. He will have some, but you don't have to do any. All I got to do is hit level 29 and I max Peacekeeper out, and that's cool because he's got sweet helmets that I want. He tends to sell a lot of Western stuff, and he works in dollars. Dollars are a lot easier to come by than you think. Peacekeeper will buy anything, just like Prapor, except he doesn't really buy armor. He doesn't really buy bags, sorry, and he generally won't buy a loaded weapon. Like you'll see, he won't buy this AKMS, but he'll buy this one. He'll do that because this one is empty and there's no round in the chamber. Oh no, he won't buy anything with a loaded magazine, or a magazine in it, I believe, but he will buy weapons with rounds in the chamber, which is used to not be the case, but I guess it is now. Why won't he buy this? That's curious. I don't know why he won't buy that. It may be that it's broken. Weapons have their own durability. Yeah, there you go. And you'll see $300, $200, $138. You can make your money pretty quickly on Peacekeeper. And even though it does say I've spent $3 million, what it really does is it converts the dollar amount of that you've bought and sold to rubles, and then does the calculation that way. It's about 97 rubles to $1. And you can buy dollars from them too if you're really desperate. So it's really important to understand that this is the meta when it comes to your traders. It's very important that you keep them up to date, that you keep them, you know, leveling up, that you reach certain heights with them, because if you don't, you're going to have a bad time. Put this weapon back together, because we actually want to use it one day. Gas tube, that would help. Notice this weapon's still not operable, and no, it's a weapon, because it has a handguard, So, it's important to understand that you have to be very careful with your traders. You have to make sure that they are leveled up and kept happy, and that you're being careful with your tasks in particular, because some of them do lower others. This is a fine balancing act. Your first quest from Skier, for example, is a timed one. You have 3 days to get him some of the best armor in the game. You're going to want to not accept this one until you have it, because it's timed. If you fail it, you'll piss him off, and you'll need to recover it. But there's the only task that's timed like that, so you don't have to worry about it. And this is the only task that really seriously hurts everyone else. Most of these you'll just hit as you go, but some of them do require you to go find things. Some of them do require you to go find special items that you have to extract with in order to complete. Generally with a task, if you need help with it, we'll give you a hand with it. Okay, so back onto this screen. This is the character that I was setting up when I was beginning to record. So this is my USEC PMC, and I'm playing USEC because his voice is hilarious, but there's really no difference between USEC and Bear currently. You'll see that I have my vest on, I have my rifle, I have some body armor, I got some sweet swag on, I got stuff in my pockets, and I have my bigger EOD edition container. Don't worry about this container. You can do plenty with a standard edition container. It's not the end of the world to not have one of these. Okay, so my standard loadout when going into a raid where I want to come out with a lot of gear is I'll bring my weapon and 1 magazine, and then I'll bring stacks of ammo. Now I usually bring 4 stacks of ammo, so I'll have 60, 120, 180. I'll have like like 220. I'll have, generally 4 stacks, and then I'll keep 2 stacks free on a vest. And there's a very specific reason for that, which I'll show you when I get in raid. But essentially, the 2 stacks that I keep free means I can put a 1x2 medkit here to hotbar it, and then other ones I can put in my pockets. If I have an IFAK, which are these, what I'll tend to do is I'll tend to not do that, and I'll put this here. It really depends on what space you have available, what money you have to spend, and what you're willing to put things in. My other pocket, if I have it available, is going to go to a grenade. If I have a car med kit and I'm not using an IFAK, I'll keep 2 grenades. Okay. Let's jump into an offline raid at the minute, and we'll show you what I mean, why you keep this setup that you do. Alright, welcome to Factory. Now, if you don't know how Factory works, I urge you to go watch the Factory video I made. I know it's 18 minutes long, but there really is no other way to teach you this map in a safe environment. We can't bring you offline. We can't, go in a raid with a full team, because there's always going to be one other person to worry about. There's also going to be AI to worry about. The AI are currently off in this offline raid, just so I can get to a safe spot and show you what I'm trying to do. This tends to be the focal point of the map, so we'll do it up here. Okay, so I'm here in Raid Factory with my MP5. This is the setup that you saw me put together. Normally I bring an extra painkiller here, but I didn't, so sue me. Okay, so you got your basic shooter controls. Aiming, firing, Bravo is your fire selector, and R is your reload. Those things are pretty similar. You're gonna have to get used to recoil control because this game does keep a ballistic set. It does track ballistics, things work a certain way. There's damage fall off, certain ammunition penetrates armor better, things of that nature. But generally it's just the same standard shooter controls. You get your spring, which I urge you to put onto toggle. Hold, not toggle, because toggle sprint is the worst. Other than that, it's a shooter. It plays like every other shooter on the market in that sense of controls. There are a couple of controls that are probably worth mentioning. If you hold shift and you press T, you can check your chamber, which doesn't really actually do anything other than make you move the bolt. Alt and T will check the magazine. You'll get a sense of how much is in it if you really need it. You can also do the same by hitting tab. If you hold Alt and you press W, you can blade fire. This is actually more useful than it looks. If you do it with S, you can blade fire around a corner like this. Oh, wrong key. Like this. Like, look at that. Whee! Get fucked. Look at that. I fired at the wall. Whee! Okay. Now you're probably looking and wondering, okay, but why did you only bring 2 magazines? One on the gun and one in the vest. When you get into a firefight and you reload, it's far more efficient to hit tab and just drag your ammunition to the magazine you just emptied out. It's probably not realistic, but it's far more efficient. And the reason it's more efficient is that until you've mastered a weapon, which is something you can't do at the minute, you will end up dropping your magazine. You're thinking, why would I drop my magazine? That seems stupid. Trust me, you will. Let me fill up all my vests. For the record, you split stack by holding control and then dragging, and then you can choose how much you want to do it with. And we'll do this with this here. So my vest is now full. Now common sense would say I pull the magazine out, put it in a slot, and then put the magazine in. But there are no other slots. I filled up my vest, so I got to reload. Oh no, where'd it go? There was no space for it, so I dropped it. And that's why we don't fill our vest up with magazines, because if you do, you're just gonna fuck yourself, to be honest. So you can definitely bring more than one magazine in the vest if you feel like it, but this is my standard setup. This is Canada meta. It minimizes the number of magazines you lose, the number of magazines you have to buy. It just generally makes your life easier. It's also far faster to just drag, honestly. If you're wondering what that number is when I zoom, it's my 0. You're generally going to keep that at about 50. You're never going to really need to change your 0, to be honest. Long range fire is kind of like it's a thing. You get snipers, but they're not exactly the meta. So Okay, now you'll probably notice I've hotbarred some of my medical. You can only do that with stuff that's in your vest or your pockets. If I put my IFAK gear, it won't hotbar. Now I have a mouse with 4, 5, and 6 set up on it, so I can press those when I want. But you generally carry this kind of medical setup, and let me explain it. You have all these parts of your body that can take damage, and if they go to 0, you lose them. If your head or your chest go to 0, you die. Like, you're dead. There's no coming back. If you lose a leg and it, you know, goes to 0, you're going to be limping. Same if you pull a fracture, and fractures... I'm not going to fracture my leg here because I don't have a splint yet. I'll probably do it in a minute. If you lose an arm, your aim will go shaky. If your stomach goes to 0, you'll start to dehydrate very, very fast, and when you hit 0 hydration, all your limbs start to lose HP till you die. Okay. So what I tend to do is I tend to keep painkillers rather than splints, because painkillers can let you run again on a broken leg, even if you've completely lost the leg. AI2s won't stop blood loss from a limb, but they will recover HP. And IFAKs, Saluas, and car med kits will stop blood loss and everything else that an AI2 will do. You don't have to worry about radiation exposure or toxication. Those aren't things yet. Some of them are faster than others. The AI2 takes 6 seconds to use. The IFAK takes 5. I believe the Salua is faster than all of them. So what we're going to do is we're just going to... Okay. So now I have a fractured leg. So I'm limping. Oh no, I'm limping. Now if I had a splint, I could heal that right now with a splint and not worry about it ever coming back. But I don't keep splints because they're only useful on fractures. So I bring painkillers. And I can move normally again. I still have a fracture, but I'm on painkillers. So I'm just running, ignoring the fracture. Who cares? Fight through the pain. Painkillers give you 4 minutes of pain relief, and they'll also cause a sharpened filter on your screen once you're at full health, which you'll see certainly. So if I go to my AI2, I can drag it onto a limb, and it'll pull as much out of it as it needs to completely heal. That's a very fast way to heal a single limb, if you have the time to do it. Or, I can hit the 5 key, and it heals whatever it feels is the lowest in requiring it. I have a tremor at the minute. You'll see the sharpened filter now happens because of the painkillers I'm on. But now essentially I'm back to full. In 4 minutes my leg will break again, and I'll limp again. But right now I'm fighting fit, all my limbs are at full HP, and I'm no longer dying. It's really important to try to keep on top of medical. Medical's really cheap. If you're not taking out painkillers on AI2 and trying to at least bring up, like, at a lower level, you may not want to bring an IFAK or a Salua or a car med kit, but you can definitely bring some bandages, and bandages work the same way, they just don't recover the limb's HP. It's why IFAKs and Saluas and car med kits are just the superior item. I can stop blood loss and recover a limb in terms of HP. But bandages are totally useful, and it's certainly worth bringing. Army bandages, the green ones, are faster than the civilian bandages, but they'll all stop blood loss, and you might need to go find one in a pinch on a scav. So it's important to try to keep some medical in your pockets at least. Or even in your container. On a hatchet run, maybe not so important, but if you're definitely going to any serious raid or any minimally serious raid, you're going to want to bring medical. If you don't bring medical, if you're in a group, you're going to become the slowest member of the group. You're going to bring everyone to a crawl and trying to keep up with you. And if you do have medical, you can survive a firefight longer. You can... Sure, it's a little unrealistic. You can hit 5 and recover some damage, but it is a game, and we do have to give some nuance to that, the fact that it is a video game. It has to be fun. Firefights in Tarkov work essentially one of 2 ways. You either see someone and you kill them instantly, or they kill you instantly, or you get involved in a protracted firefight that lasts several minutes, and you're just both progressively taking more and more damage. And it's good to have medical on both instances. You can get into a 2-second firefight and lose every limb in the process, but you're still alive because you slapped that motherfucking medical button. It's also worth noting that buckshot's super dangerous. Scavs are really dangerous. Even with armor, I'm only covered on my stomach and chest. My arms and my legs are still super vulnerable. A shot to my leg is still going to blow out my leg. And blowing out the leg sucks. Any limb that goes to black and is hit again, you'll receive double damage, and then you'll transfer all the damage along your other limbs, transferring the damage along. So if you know someone's limping, hit him in his fucking leg again. You're going to do extra damage when you hit him in that broken leg. And when I say broken, I don't mean it has a fracture. I mean the actual limb has no HP and it's black. Get up here. And that's really as simple as medical gets, but it's something you'd really need to get into the swing of doing. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into an off-flame with bots, and we're going to see if we can get them to shoot at us and see if we can bleed. The laser's not what made me accurate. The fact that we're already shouldered is what made me accurate. But that guy's fucking dead. Look at that. See his brains on the wall? Alright, so when you make your first kill, you get to your first body. It's really important to get your looting done fast. Prioritize what's important. What's important is I want this guy's rifle. And then I back off. Cool. Is anyone else coming? Okay, no. Then you gotta think, okay, are you a hatchling? Do you really need his vest? You better make sure you take what's in it first. Now, I wouldn't take the WT rig, but I might want his magazines, so I'd search it. But what you could do is just... Okay, perfect. We're no bleeding. So I'm gonna slap my IFAK. And I'm no longer bleeding, but you see I took a bunch of damage and I lost a leg. This is now a lost leg. This is the one that was bleeding. It's the one that had the fresh wound. I don't want to waste my IFAK anymore, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to slap my AI2. And it's just going to start healing every limb that it can until it runs out. It's my chest, then it's my stomach. It should do probably my right arm or my head next. I'll do my right leg. Probably do my right arm now. Oh, my left arm it was. You can also remember, of course, you can drag and heal completely. You actually are already healed by the time the thing is already used, but you do have to wait for this to finish in the bottom before you can use another medical item. The I2s run out fast, and it's probably important to bring spares. So you see I'm limping. Oh no, I'm limping. There's literally nothing that can be done for this leg. You can slap whatever you want on it, it's not going to come back. You can use painkillers though. You can right click or you can hotbar it. Oh no, I can move normally. Look at that. And then we're going to do a reload. And then we're going to refill our magazine. And that's how an engagement works. So, one thing you can do, let's say you're coming in with trash gear and you had a scav vest, you want to take this guy's WT rig, right? What you can do is you can hit delete to discard and you can put this on. Or you can right click and discard to put yours on. I'm going to take mine back because I don't want that. Same for bags, you might want to drag your this bag straight in. It'll still need searched when you do it. So for example, let's say you just grab it and you run because you want to get somewhere safe. It still has to be searched. Now you can click here to do that. And it takes a little bit of time. Oh, look at that, we found a little car key. That's important. If you find any food items, it's really important to make sure you eat all of those. Not all food items that are eaten are safe. Condensed milk and sugar will dehydrate you, but everything else tends to hydrate you again. And it's important for your metabolism skill, which is one of the few skills that actually do work in this game. Metabolism will, you know, decrease how much you hydrate. You will forget physical skills over time, and this helps with that. And once you max it out at like level 50, which takes forever, by the way, once you max it out, you no longer dehydrate if you've got a shot out stomach. So I can discard, and I'm going to take my bag back. Oh. And F is your interaction key, if you're wondering. F is the key to do this. Even if you're not taking anything from bodies, get in and search it really quickly, and you get some quick experience. To show you that in action. A little bit of looting experience. This guy had like a Saiga or whatever. You'll see in the bottom that I'm hurt. That's not going to go away. It's because I am hurt. There's no HP left in this. Pressing Y would also make my guy talk. Double tapping, that would bring up my commo rows, which you might want, but it's not a huge deal. Let's see if we can get up to offices. Let's see if we can get ourselves to a little bit damage so you can see that in the top left again. Oh, my mag? You do stop moving when you hit tab, by the way, so you gotta be very careful. Worth noting, while I said that there's realistic range, that guy's now limping. I've already blown out a leg of his. Scavs can bleed out and die just like anyone else. Someone's... Better reload. He emptied me. Now, I know where these guys are because of audio, really. I know Factory pretty well, and it's not something you can really teach. Oh. It's not something you can teach. It's something you sort of pick up over time. Once you know where things are and you hear what's... Like, up here makes different audio than down there is sort of what you learn. There's very bad up and down audio. It's all horizontal. But I mean, look at that, I just smoked a bunch of scavs, and I didn't get hit, because this game is way more aggressive than people would think it is. I think I hear another one. Now some scavs will shoot you and kill you instantly, and some will just... Oh look, they'll go prone too. Oh, he's dead now. Yeah. And notice I wasn't being slow about this, I was being very aggressive, moving out to meet the contact. That is something that you... Oh, there's another one. Something you pick up with time. I'm taking my time, I'm trying to get myself hit and they're just not doing it. Say that to my face. Alright, any time today someone wants to hit me. Oh, I'm limping again. My painkiller wore off. No longer on painkillers. I can right click and use. You can't double click and use, it'll open up this, but you can hotbar or right click and use, so. Let's swap out weapons. Let's see if we can get a kill with this. You'll notice I bring these bags, can put full on rifles in. You can also fold stocks, which you can actually do by right clicking, or if you've got the weapon in it, you can hold Alt and press L. I'm gonna grab this guy's magazines. I want to see if I can get a kill with this shitty little scav weapon, just so they'll hit me. So when you're looting, essentially, for example, what I'll do is I'll grab one extra mag and I'll unload the one that he had, because I don't need it. I don't need any more than one extra mag. Let's reload his 2-rounder. I hit him, but it's 20 gauge, it's not super damaging. Got him though. Look at that, what a kill. Nice. Scavs seem extra stupid today. Normally that guy would smoke me. I don't know. I guess we should get down there and like see if we can actually get ourselves hit. One in this corner. There we go. There's that hut in the top left. See it? So I'm bleeding out of my left leg. We hit our IFAK. We stopped that. You see that I'm very low on health now, but I'm no longer bleeding. I'm no longer dying. Limbs are no longer... I'm no longer losing HP, and I'm still on painkillers, so I can still sprint. You see that I'm down a ton. So in this case, I'm going to use what I can of my AI2, but it's gone. So I'm going to have to go to a backup. This is one of those situations where I'd be running. Like, I'd be slapping whatever I have and just moving out of the way, because I want to make sure I can get back to Fading Fit. I didn't lose any more limbs, I just took a ton of damage. And you'll see with every slap, my vision gets a little bit better. My health comes back a little bit. Oh. And you can survive a ton. I mean, look at that. I lost an arm and a leg. Armor helps with that, obviously, but it's down to the fact that I wasn't still really hurt from my last engagement. This is danger zone. This is get the fuck out of the raid time, because I am now incapable of bandaging this. I have a car med kit, but if I didn't, I wouldn't be able to bandage this this leg. So what I would do is I'd probably drag this, hotbar it, and I just slap that, get rid of that bleed really quickly. Like, that's a dangerous position to be in. Like, you can get hurt. Buckshot fucking hurts. So, this is why it's important to bring medical. Like, I would be dead if it wasn't for the medical. I would be absolutely no way. I would be limping. I'd be bleeding. And it's worth noting that if you have a fresh wound like this, sprinting can reopen it at seemingly random. So I'm not bleeding at the minute, but if I sprint around a lot longer, I will reopen my wounds and bleed again. And if you're already out of medical when that happens, that's a problem. So here's I'm at the Astram, see if I can get the bleed to start again. This number here is your actual health for the record, and it's kind of a combination of all these. I'm now as healed as I can be, but I'm still very, very hurt. And notice that my armor is not taking many hits. I took all those hits on my legs and arms because they weren't covered by my soft armor, so. But anyway, time to get out of this raid. I won't lose anything, so. Unfortunately, I also don't get the experience. When you come out of a raid, you get experience for your level. It shows you your raid team. You get this kill list. If any of these were PMCs and you grab a dog tags, you'll see their name. And you get general breakdowns of your experience and how many eliminations you got. That's a lot of experience, but unfortunately, I don't get to keep any of it. And there we go, I didn't lose anything. Okay. Other than that, those are your general basics of Fire Fate. Breaking down the raids is something that you really need to do in a different video, and I've broken down the two that are probably the ones I'm willing to do, which are Factory and Woods. If you're not willing to sit down and look at Factory for 18 minutes, I don't know what to tell you. I don't want to sound crass, but there is no way for us to teach you in a raid how to do things efficiently. Whilst we can go in and we can kill all the PMCs, there are still AI, there are still player scavs that spawn throughout. It's very stressful, and it makes teaching a little difficult. A lot of us learn just by doing, but hopefully this gives you some idea of just generally how things work. Because honestly, the biggest thing is the medical. You can know the map and then not realize that you really should be bringing medical with you, and we see that a little bit. That does happen. We're not going to sit there and pretend it doesn't. And there are other various things that you'll pick up that you don't really need to be taught. Like, you don't need to be told that adding things to your weapon makes them bigger in your stash, because if you're new to the game, that's just how it always has been for you. It's new to us. It's not for you. Hopefully now you know about the traders, you know about medical, and you know the general layout of a Fire Fate. You know how searching and stuff tends to look. Delete will discard things automatically. You should be trying to at least hit F on everybody. You should only be bringing really 1 or 2 extra magazines and extra ammunition, because it's worse losing your magazines than your ammo, and you don't really need it anyway. Point firing is not hip firing, that kind of thing. So I'm going to try to break this down into about a 20-minute video if I can, because I think that'll be really useful. And everything else is just sort of map awareness and general playtime, and it'll come with you naturally. So don't worry about it, you'll get the grip of it. And if you're really enjoying Tarkov, it'd be good to see you pick it up, because it's an intense game. It's a lot of fun to play, and it's one of the most satisfying shooters I've ever played. So yeah, we're gonna dip out now, and I guess I'm gonna go edit this, and I guess I'll see you in raid.